The WNBA Finals were supposed to be a celebration of everything the league had been fighting for: visibility, respect, and growth. The storylines were there. A'ja Wilson, the face of the Las Vegas Aces, was back on the biggest stage. DeWanna Bonner and the Phoenix Mercury were hungry to reclaim dominance. On paper, this was supposed to be the pinnacle of women's basketball. But when the cameras panned across the arena, what fans saw wasn't energy or excitement. It was silence, red seats, and a wave of apathy so thick it drowned out the echoes of sneakers on the hardwood. What should have been a sold-out, roaring championship environment looked like a mid-season scrimmage. Empty seats, flat atmosphere. Ticket prices dropping faster than jump shots. $35 seats for the finals, a moment that should have defined the season, told the entire story. Even A'ja Wilson, one of the league's proudest ambassadors, couldn't hide her disbelief. During warmups, she reportedly muttered under her breath, "This is the finals?" It wasn't arrogance. It was heartbreak. Fans had vanished. Interest had evaporated. And for the first time in years, it became painfully clear that the WNBA's momentum wasn't built on the foundation it thought it had. It was built on Caitlin Clark's shadow. Clark's absence hung over the finals like a storm cloud. Every time a highlight from the Aces or Mercury went up, social media didn't talk about the plays. They talked about how empty the seats were. Commentators tried to spin it, saying fans were missing out on great basketball, but people weren't buying tickets and they weren't tuning in. The Caitlin Clark phenomenon had spoiled the league in a way that couldn't be undone. Fans who had filled arenas all summer to see her weren't interested in sticking around for anyone else. A'ja Wilson and DeWanna Bonner, both veterans and icons, couldn't understand why the support they'd been begging for their entire careers disappeared the moment Clark's season ended. During post-game interviews, their frustration boiled over. "We're playing some of the best basketball in the world," Wilson said, her tone tight but wounded. "But it's like nobody's watching." Bonner didn't hold back either. "It's disrespectful," she snapped. "We work our whole lives for this moment, and the stands are half empty." The clip went viral, but not the way the league hoped. Instead of sympathy, the response was brutal. Fans flooded comment sections with biting remarks. "Maybe if y'all didn't hate on Caitlin, the seats wouldn't be empty." Others joked that the finals had become a scrimmage without Clark's star power. It was cruel, but it reflected a painful truth. The WNBA had alienated the very audience that made it relevant again. The online mockery only deepened the wound. Fans stitched videos of the finals crowd next to fever games from earlier in the season, showing the stark contrast between sold-out arenas and the ghost towns the championship had become. The difference was undeniable. When Caitlin Clark played, there was electricity. When she didn't, it was silence. By Game 2, the frustration turned into something darker. Cameras caught A'ja Wilson slamming a towel on the bench after a timeout, visibly angry at the lack of energy in the arena. DeWanna Bonner was seen shaking her head and muttering something under her breath after missing a layup. Lip readers later claimed she said, "Nobody cares." Within hours, the clips flooded social media. The optics were terrible. What should have been a showcase of intensity was instead being framed as a meltdown, and then came the backlash. Fans accused both players of hypocrisy, that the same stars who downplayed Clark's impact earlier in the season were now reaping the consequences. Commentators echoed that sentiment, saying the finals had turned into a mirror for the league's arrogance. It was no longer about basketball. It was about attitude. Inside locker rooms, the mood was grim. Wilson reportedly told teammates, "We work so hard, but they only care about her." Bonner didn't say much, but her silence said enough. The realization was setting in. The league's success wasn't collective anymore. It was centered on one player, and without her, everything fell apart. Meanwhile, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert faced the press for the first time since the finals controversy erupted. She tried to stay upbeat, praising the athletes and the growth of the game, but the tone didn't match the moment. One reporter cut through the niceties with the question everyone was thinking. "Commissioner, how do you explain the record low attendance and ratings for the finals?" Engelbert froze, forced a smile, and blamed marketing fatigue and scheduling conflicts. It was a corporate answer for a crisis that demanded honesty. Inside WNBA offices, panic spread like wildfire. Staffers scrambled to change the narrative, posting highlight reels, motivational quotes, and thank you fans messages. But the damage was irreversible. Screenshots of cheap ticket listings went viral again, this time captioned, "Growth?" Every attempt at spin looked desperate. Even the players started to break under the weight. A'ja Wilson, who'd been trying to carry the league's image for years, reportedly broke down after seeing the viewership numbers. The finals ratings had dropped almost 50% from the semifinals, featuring Caitlin Clark. "It hurts," she told a teammate. "We gave everything. It still feels like nobody cares." DeWanna Bonner was more defiant. "We don't need one player to make people care," she told a reporter. But even she didn't seem convinced. Her words were strong, but her body language betrayed exhaustion. The truth was written on every player's face. They had lost the fans. As Game 3 approached, the tension hit a breaking point. Engelbert tried one last time to salvage control, holding emergency meetings with both teams. She urged them to focus on the basketball and block out the noise. But even in private, players couldn't hide their anger. Some blamed leadership for mishandling the media narrative. Others felt veterans had alienated the fan base by refusing to embrace the new era Clark represented. As A'ja Wilson and DeWanna Bonner walked off the court for the final time, the applause was polite, not passionate. The cameras panned to Engelbert in the stands. She clapped, smiled tightly, and looked like she wanted to be anywhere else. The WNBA had dreamed of this moment being its crowning glory. Instead, it was a reckoning, because when the lights dimmed and the crowd filed out, one truth lingered above the empty seats. The league's future didn't belong to its politics, its pride, or even its past stars. It belonged to the player they spent months trying to downplay, the one whose name still dominated every conversation. And until the WNBA embraces that truth, every finals will feel just like this one, a championship played in an echo chamber, waiting for an audience that already moved on. If you believe women's basketball deserves better storytelling, better leadership, and real unity, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and drop your thoughts below. Do you think the WNBA can recover from this, or is this the beginning of the end?